Hey guys, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today we're going to go through the top 5 rare champions in the game right now, and the criteria we're going to use is whether or not the champion is used endgame or not. So in some cases, some of the champions on this list aren't as good as other rare champions in terms of overall ability, but these champions specifically can be used in the end game, or to some extent the end game. So this is the reason we chose these ones. So without further ado, let's crack into the top 5. So coming in at number 5 in the High Elves, we have Reliquary Tender. So Reliquary Tender is a support champion, rare, and she's a High Elf, like I said. She has an A1 that does a 20% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack buff for 2 turns, which is the small version of decrease attack. So not an incredible first ability, and it also takes a lot of books. So ideally you want your books to land on these second 2 abilities, which only take 3 books between them, and their cooldown, so that's what you're after. Their A2 is our kind of standout ability. It's a cleanse, so it's remove all debuffs from all allies, then places a 15% continuous heal buff on them for 2 turns. So fantastic A2, and the fact that it can be on a 3-turn cooldown when booked is super powerful for a rare, so really good champion. And then on our A3 we have a revive. So it's a revive an ally with 30 HP and fills their turn meter by 30%. So again, another fantastic ability for a rare champion. She's going to be able to carry through loads and loads of content in the game. She's good in clan boss, she can be used in dragon, and she can get used in pretty much anywhere, even arena she's usable. I would say where she really shines early game is like dragon and clan boss. She's our cleanse is really good for getting rid of poisons in the dragon and things like that. She can revive people on the clan boss team, fills her turn meter so it makes them faster, so really good champion for a rare. So coming in at number 4 in the dwarfs, we have the rare champion Bulwark. Now this one might not be in a lot of people's list because, to be honest, he's hopeless in all parts of the game except for one. He is like proper high ranking in clan boss. So let's go through his abilities first and we'll find out why. So defense based dwarf. His A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a 15% weaken debuff for 2 turns. So when this is booked up, this goes up to 30%. So you've got a 30% chance on both hits. So you've got 2 chances at this at applying a weaken debuff, which is massive in clan boss. Weaken means the clan boss is going to take more damage from poisons and more damage from a giant slayer procs, war master procs, things like that, or just generally more damage. Moving on to the A2, attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. Again, once this is booked up, it's going to get the extra 25% and put it up to 100%. So as long as the accuracy is high enough, then you're going to hit this. And again, HP burn, another fantastic effect on the clan boss. It's just going to tick away damage. Now moving on to the A3, or the passive I should say, it's not an A3 at all. It's punishing defense. When attacked, has a 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So this really sells itself to clan boss. I mean, all these abilities are fantastic for clan boss, but this one specifically, because this is going to increase the duration of all debuffs, including poisons, defense downs, weakens, any of this kind of stuff, HP burns. So you can really do some fantastic stuff with this ability. This guy really is like top tier clan boss if you build him right. I use him in my clan boss build. I'm not high end clan boss, but a 2-key nightmare, no problem with this guy. So, and then just to top it all off, he's got an aura that's increased ally defense in all battles by 17%, so he can easily be the lead on your clan boss team because that extra defense is really going to help with your tankiness. In terms of stats, he's got okay defense, 1266, not bad for a rare. Okay speed, 97. It's not the best stats in the world, but it's definitely not the worst. If you build him right, you can definitely get this guy pretty good for clan boss, as long as you're just getting loads and loads of defense, loads of accuracy, and a decent amount of speed, and everything else doesn't really matter. Maybe a bit of HP. So that is Bulwark. So moving into number 3, we have in the Dark Elves Kael. So a lot of you guys will recognise this character. He is the most popular starting champion in the game. He is very good and can be used right up to endgame. Probably not endgame viable as such. You can use him, but there's better options. But he definitely can be used there, and he can get you there really easily. So let's go through his abilities. Again, attack based champion here, so his A1 attacks one enemy, has an 80% chance of placing a small poison debuff for 2 turns. So not too bad, it's way more poison, which isn't a bad thing. His A2 though can hit really hard if built right. It attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, and fills the turn meter of this champion by 25% for each enemy killed. So if you are going to use him in like Arena or something like that, this is a fantastic ability. The great thing about Kael, he's very versatile, so this guy can be used in Arena, he can be used in Dragons, he can be used in Clan Boss, and he's got kind of different builds depending on what sort of stats you put on him for each type. So this is definitely a good Arena ability. And then moving on to his A3, so this is Disintegrate. It attacks 4 times at random, and each has a 40% chance of placing the big poison debuff for 2 turns. So again, when this is booked up, you're going to get a 50% chance on 4 turns, so generally you're going to put between 2 and 3 poisons every time you use this, which is fantastic against Clan Boss and Dragon, which is really what he's used for most of the time, up to the point of very much endgame. But he can do some serious damage in Dragon, definitely at endgame. It's Dragon 20, no problem with Kael. Clan Boss, I would say his limit's probably Nightmare. I don't really see him much in Ultra Nightmare now, but he can be used definitely in Nightmare Clan Boss. He's also got an aura, increases ally HP in all battles by 15%, so these all battles auras are fantastic because you can use them in anything, any content. They're not set to one specific type of content, so very handy champion. So coming in at number 2, also in the Dark Elves, we have Coldheart. A lot of you guys will recognise this one. So she is probably my favourite rare champion. She's not number 1 on the list, but she's definitely my favourite rare. So she's an attack based Dark Elf, like I said. She has an A1 which attacks 4 times at random, which is right away off the bat just insane for a rare. I mean, I think there's only like 1 or 2 legendaries that maybe attack 4 times, but on her A1 attacking 4 times, right off the bat, Fire Knights, that is incredible for her. She's doing a 4-hit A1, so that's really good. And to top it off, it's got a 25%, also 35% when booked up, of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So again, the Spirit keep, very good for that as well, putting the heal reduction on. Then moving on to our A2, the Art of Pain. Attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy debuff for 1 turn. Places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a heal reduction debuff. So you don't generally put the poison on, I'm not going to lie, I don't see it happen very often. It's not really that great an ability, this one, but it can be useful for some things, but it's not what she's about. She is all about her A3, which is the Heartseeker. So this attacks 1 enemy, decreases the target's turn meter by 100%, then also has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Damage increases according to enemy max HP. So this thing is basically a legendary ability. This is absolutely insane. The first thing I note, I guess, is that the turn meter reduction by 100% is just stupid. I mean, you can let the boss get all the way up to the top of its turn meter, shoot it with Heartseeker, and then boom, goes all the way back down to the bottom. And if you've got multiple Coldhearts, you can really control the turn meter super easy with this ability. It has an extra 30% chance of inflicting the critical hit, which means you only have to get her up to 70% crit rate on this build, which makes a big difference because it means you can pump more stats into the attack, the crit damage, the accuracy, the other things you really need to make this champion work. And then the last part, damage increases according to enemy max HP, is what makes this ability so good. So if you look here, the enemy max HP and attack are both next to each other. Now, the one that comes first means that is what the damage mostly scales off. So technically with Coldheart, what you really want to do is focus massively on 70% critical rate and like tons and tons of crit damage. And you don't really need to worry about too much attack because the attack comes secondary. So it's mainly based on the enemy max HP. So the bigger the enemy, the more damage this is going to do. You'll see this happen in spiders, against the dragon. It'll basically nuke huge bosses way down in health because it's scaling off their max HP. And when they have such high HP, it's going to do huge damage. There's loads of nasty teams you can put together with Coldheart, say 2 or 3 of them in a Spider 20 team alongside another couple of support champions, and you can just nuke her down super quick. So fantastic champion, but Spiders and Fire Knight is really where she shines the best, I would say. And surprise taking the number 1 spot here we have Apothecary. So Apothecary is a support based high elf. He has an A1 that attacks 3 times at random. Just basic, but very good for Fire Knights because it's got the 3-hit A1. Moving on to the A2, heals a target ally by 35% HP. This heal can be critical. That is important to really note this pip because this heal basically fully heals people as long as the critical is hitting. So it is a really strong heal, this one. I mean, super strong. And the fact that it's on a 2-turn cooldown is crazy. It comes up all the time. And it also gets an extra 15% heal, which isn't additive, so it doesn't go up to 50% HP. It's like 5% of 35, then 5 that again. So it's like, I can't do the maths, but maybe a couple of percent extra, but we'll maybe push it up to about 40, which is still very good, especially the fact that it can be critical, which means you're going to get that full heal. And then lastly, got a really good turn meter manipulation skill. It places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, and also fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% on a 3-turn cooldown. This guy is insane for a rare. He's such a good support champion. Endgame viable in the Clan Boss, in the Spider, in Ice Golem, in Fire Knight. Very good in Arena, maybe not Endgame, but you do see him in Platinum quite a lot. He can be used anywhere. He can be used in Dragon, but he really shines, and you'll see him Endgame, Clan Boss, Spider teams, Ice Golem, and Fire Knight all the time. So definitely a fantastic champion. If you get him early, definitely book him up and get him up to 60. Get everything sorted, get a good build on him. He will not let you down, and you will use him throughout your game of Raid Shadow Legends. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this top 5. We're going to be doing a lot more of these videos coming up soon. I keep getting asked for them, so definitely the most requested type of video. So we're going to do quite a few more of them over the coming weeks and months. So keep posted. Again, please check out the Twitch stream. That's mainly what I'm doing these days. I do post YouTube videos, but it's not really my bread and butter. It's mainly Twitch that I'm on, so check me out on Iamsteamin on Twitch, and please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Really helps me out, and I hope you guys have a great day. Have a good one. Take it easy.